to look over the valley, as if admiring the view he couldn't see. But he wanted to make sure she didn't see the grin spreading over his face. 30 years was a good long time for people's memories to fade, just like the plastic flowers twined among the metal filigree of the cross. Even 15 years might be long enough. He covered another laugh with a cough. Just means someone met the end of their earthly life on this spot, and someone cared enough to put up a memorial. Touching, she said dryly. Well, it looks like we made it. For sure I thought you'd get us lost. But I guess you know what you're doing, right? She asked, noting the Welcome to Bonney County sign. She had avoided coming back unless it was absolutely necessary also. He knew she'd been back a few weeks earlier, without him. She'd met up with him just yesterday in Albuquerque, reluctant to make the trip south again with him, no matter how badly it was warranted. Time was running out. For once, their needs were in accord, although for different reasons. Her face wrinkled up in that look of displeasure he had come to hate, and which filled him with teeth-gritting rage. It was getting harder to hide it, too. Yes, he said, and he knew by her silence that she understood he wasn't in the mood to hear any griping or complaining. Still, she had to ask questions. Why are we here so early? Nobody's expecting you till later, are they? Nobody's expecting me at all, period, he snapped. Or you either. I've decided to make a change in plans. You're going back. Like hell I am! She pounded her fists on the car roof, and he winced at the thought of her leaving dents in the already battered finish. You said it was time we both came back together. Both of us. You said... I know what I said, and I changed my mind. He forced his voice to a cool, level tone, knowing that if he raised his voice, they'd end up being discovered having a screaming match on the side of the road, or else he'd have to act sooner than he had planned. I've been doing some thinking. Calm down, and I'll explain why it's best that we don't show up at the same time. This was tricky. She was a jealous person, and she rarely trusted him at face value. That made her too smart for her own good, and too dangerous to have around. She scowled and folded her arms, slumping against the side of the car with a pout on her face. When she wanted to, she could fix herself up and look like $1,000,000, but only he, and maybe one or two others, knew what she looked like when she didn't bother. And she only bothered when it was to her benefit. He wasn't sure if she took him seriously or not. He certainly wasn't serious about her, no matter what she might think. But would anyone in insular, old-fashioned Bonney take them seriously as a couple? Was it a mistake to show up together? Maybe that was why his contact in Bonney had made it clear that it'd be best she not show up along with him. That it was best that her connection to him not be apparent. He needed to appear professional and independent, not a puppet, not a lapdog, not needy or attached. Definitely not attached. That would ruin everything. He hadn't been able to work it out before they commenced on this trip. He could only hope that she believed this was a recent idea he'd just had, not an idea he'd had all along. J.D. Wilder coasted his Harley to a stop outside Noisy Water Winery in Midtown Ruidoso. Although it was barely 10:45 in the morning, the day was already warming up, tempered by the coolness of the pine trees and the breeze. Mondays were just a little less busy in the village than the weekends, but the perfect weather had coaxed tourists into town, and there were many people strolling along the sidewalks and window shopping. Having finished his business in the village of Bonney earlier than he expected, he decided he would take a chance on finding Corrie's best friend, Shelley Davenport, at work.